Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the first episode of our new podcast, Band for Band, featuring me, Joey, and Dave. We hope you enjoy. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Joe. I'm feeling really good about this episode.
Me too. We've done a lot of preparation. Really, something has been in the air lately. Both of us have been listening to lots of Sparks lately. Out of nowhere, you know? It just kind of crept up. And we decided to talk about Sparks.
Which is such a crazy topic.
Daunting.
Very daunting, honestly. You know, you get fans of Sparks and you see all different kinds of people, I feel like. You don't know which fan of Sparks you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah, which version of Sparks
Which
is their
version,
favorite.
exactly, yeah.
I feel like Sparks fans, just in the music scene, there's a couple of bands that you run into all the time where like crazy musicians, good musicians, always like the same bands. Not always, but like everybody loves King Crimson. A lot of people love Frank Zappa. A lot of people love Jimi Hendrix. You know, Ween. Just these really inventive bands that push the envelope. Sparks, definitely one of those bands too.
Sparks, they're pushing that envelope. They're taking it to the post office. They're shipping it off.
They're stamping it, sending it worldwide, global.
Yeah.
Baby. First, I want to talk about your first experience with Sparks. How did you find out about the band?
So my first experience with Sparks, I'm a huge fan of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Mm-hmm. It's probably like my top 5 movies of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I like movies. Some would say I'm a movie guy, even. But, yeah, I love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and I love Edgar Wright, who directed it. So after kind of getting into Scott Pilgrim, I started getting into his other stuff, like Baby Driver and Hot Fuzz and all that kind of stuff. And then I heard that he was making this documentary about this band that I had never, ever heard of. I saw the trailer and immediately I was like, wow, this band, they look awesome. I don't know how I've never heard of them. And then I started listening to them after that, after the trailer came out, but the movie wasn't out yet. And that was my first experience with Sparks, which I wonder how many other people from the States that are our age are kind of maybe in that same...
Like found them through the movie?
Yeah.
My first time interacting with Sparks knowingly was through you. We were on a trip up to Rexburg, I think, for a show, and you played us This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us in the car.
Crazy song.
We were all sitting there in the car driving, and you were like, hey guys, check out this song and like see if you can guess like when it was written. You know, when did this song come out?
Is that what I said? Mm-hmm. Man, dude, past Dave, what an awesome guy.
I know.
I always commend past
cool
Dave.
Move.
Current Dave, he's not cool. He sucks. But past Dave, really cool.
You're like, guess when this song came out. And I think me and Hunter and Josh, the other two guys in our band, had never heard of the song before. Maybe Hunter had. So none of us had really heard about Sparks before. And then Dave plays us this song, and it's... increasing up. It starts off so, you know, so... interestingly, and it sounds so fresh and so like nothing I've ever heard before, and I was like, this sounds like it could have come out last year. You know, I knew that just based on the premise of the question, maybe there was more.
It was a loaded question.
It was a loaded question, but I was like, this sounds timeless. You know, I couldn't figure it out, and then I think you were like, it came out in 1977 or
either 77 or 76, one of those two.
I mean, blew my mind. I couldn't believe that something that new sounding had, you know, was that old, you know. But then as I dove more into Sparks' catalog, this is kind of a weird story, but there's this podcast called Mystery Show made by Starley Kine. Great podcast. Anyone who knows like deep into podcasts, they know the Mystery Show. It only ran for like 6 episodes or something, but it was so good. And the theme song, I listened to this when I was like 17. I loved the show, and the theme song for the show was Why isn't it time? What is space? Dogs and cats and the human race. You know, and
so that's why you love that song.
I just thought it was like a song they had commissioned for the podcast because it fit the vibe of the podcast so well. Then I heard it later in a playlist of Sparks songs, and I was like, that was Sparks. So anyway, yeah, I had liked that song for years before I even knew who it was by. So
yeah. A great introduction to Sparks, honestly. I just have their bio right here from Spotify.
Yeah.
It says, Most other musicians, when they've been working for over half a century, are resting on their laurels, basking in the warm glow of their heritage, accepting the odd Lifetime Achievement Award, playing the odd Greatest Hits tour, and concentrating on shifting their back catalog. But Sparks are not most other musicians. They are utterly unique. That's their intro on there, which, what a great...
That's a great way to tee up a band. Because we just watched the Sparks Brothers documentary.
Joey's first time, my second time.
Well, the one by Edgar Wright. And there was a quote in there that really just got me. It was Alex Kapranos, who's like the lead guitarist and singer for Franz Ferdinand. And he said that most bands, when they've been around as long as Sparks has, or when they reform after being apart for a couple years, they become a tribute to what their band used to be.
They commit the terrible tragedy. That's what he said.
Yeah.
They become the terrible... They commit the terrible tragedy of being a tribute band to the band they used to be.
I just saw Night Ranger play live. And like, you know... It was a fun concert, but they just played like a lot of 80s rock hits. There was nothing new, nothing that made me go, ooh. It was just like, oh yeah, I know this song. And that's all it was. And like, no shade on them. You know, they're touring, they're making money, they're playing music. That's awesome.
It's their livelihood, yeah.
But they're not inventing anything. They're not really coming up with anything new. It's just, they're basically just a tribute band to themselves. Which is, I've never thought about it in that way, but I thought that was so insightful. Very,
very insightful, very interesting way of saying that. And we've kind of talked about that on here before, kind of the artist philosophical question of, you know, do you do the financially safe thing for you and probably your family and play, like, run the greatest hits, or do you keep creating and risk everything constantly?
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that troubles a lot of artists. I mean, what was that movie with Jon Favreau about him being a cook?
Chef.
Is it called Chef? Mm-hmm. Chef is just like that. That's the whole theme of Chef. And it's not just with, it mirrors his personal life too. After he made Iron Man and Iron Man 2 and Marvel just kind of wanting him to keep creating the same thing. And it's like, you know, as an artist, do you feel successful once you've made something that's a hit, or do you let that inner drive to keep creating like consume you? Which, if you're a true artist, the latter is probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's a trade-off too, because you aren't going to be making as much money probably if you try the more artistically honest route, you know, making stuff that you want to keep making. And I mean, from the documentary, you get a look at their house and their studio, and it's not
humble.
It's humble. Yeah, it's got it. Maybe they are really rich. They probably...
It is in LA,
they're doing
so,
okay.
I mean, the fact that it's in LA means it's more expensive, of course. But yeah, it's nothing. I mean, it could be like, you know, your cousin Jimmy's house.
Yeah, they live a pretty humble life, and they're probably not rolling in it, but I bet they're probably comfortable. But still, you know, and they're the definition of keep reinventing themselves. That's kind of their whole thing.
Yeah, and it's so crazy, like watching them continue to evolve. As I watch them, I almost think like they feel like they're aliens that are imitating an American pop rock band, like from the 80s, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something so different and almost like, I don't want to say unsettling.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like uncanny.
There's something very uncanny and quirky about everything that they do. Their lyrics, the way they move around when they're performing, the way they act. There's just something very off-putting about it all.
Yeah. Let's talk about their sound for a little bit. It's like the movie kind of goes from album to album. And I just looked it up. They've got 25 albums so far, 26 if you count the one with Franz Ferdinand with FFS, their supergroup. And I think they have a few other like live albums and a couple side projects, but like 25 main studio albums, including the latest one. Is it The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte? Is that the name of the album?
I can't remember if that's the name of the album or just the single. I think that is the name of the album, though.
As they were going through each album and kind of tracking how their sound shifted, it was wild how, like, two things were true. One, everything they put out sounded like a capsule of a genre that came later. So like they were doing kind of the synth dance tracks before that was even a thing, you know? And then they pivot again, They're always like ahead of the curve with these innovations. And the other thing is they're still somehow super timeless. Even their oldest stuff sounds like it could come out today, you know?
It's true. And, you know, that's the craziest thing about Sparks is like, what genre are they? And you look at each album, you're going to have a different answer, which is so unbelievably insane. You know, you're going from this like kind of guitar driven classic rock to this synth duo to like
disco
to
sometimes,
electronic
and then, like,
disco,
punk
and
rock.
Yeah, there's even some punk rock stuff, and there's like some rave sounding music like from the early 2000s. There's like symphony rap.
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting wilder and wilder, you know. They just keep reinventing themselves. They're never truly comfortable with who they are, and I feel like there's something they really, every album that they have, there's almost this sadness to it to me, which sounds kind of weird, but it's almost like I love Kimono My House so much, and a part of me is sad that I know that there's never going to be anything they're ever going to put out again that's going to sound like Kimono My House.
I feel that so hard. So much music stuff and movies too. Like you listen to a great album and you're like, okay, this is maybe a sillier example, but I love the band Wolfpack. I love Wolfpack. And like, I love their music so much. I've searched far and I'm like, I want something that sounds exactly like this. I want more of this. I want more Wolfpack. I want more of this sound. And there's stuff that comes close. You know, there's other funk bands out there. There's lots of like jazz fusion bands out there, but nothing sounds exactly like Wolfpack, you know? And I just had to realize like what I want is just Wolfpack. And so I just have to soak up everything they make while they're still making it, you know? And it's, I mean, same way with these guys. Like the Kimono My House is such a cool album. And you're like, I wish they made like 15 of these, you know? Different songs, more stuff in the same genre, but that's not their vibe. You just got to enjoy what's there.
Yeah, it sounds weird. It forces you to be very present with their music and just enjoy it. It's like, oh yeah, did you like, you know, the girl crying in her latte? Well, guess what? Something completely different coming next.
Yeah.
They have kind of an interesting take on music that I really like too, in that it's not something like the way they perform it. It's not something that you're gonna hear on the radio and like casually listen to. There's all these layers to their music to unpack and kind of understand that when they're playing songs, there's almost like a certain satire that goes into them, like a sarcasm. There's like comedy rock elements in their music too. That was another genre that like we didn't talk about, but there's a lot of comedy rock elements for sure.
It's kind of amazing that they have stayed a band as long as they have. They've pretty much, as long as they've been playing together, it's just been Ronald and Russell and a backing band sometimes. And they've never, you know, broken up. They've never done like solo stuff. It's always been the two of them. And I feel like so many other bands have so much like intense conflict between the members. And it's really rare to have a band that lasts a long time. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Every episode, we kind of bring up like, you know, a decade is kind of like max runtime for a band to be good. And there's a lot of exceptions to that rule. But like, yeah, these guys hadn't had that happen. And I think maybe I want to hear your thoughts on why that's the case. Why are they still together? What's kept them together all this time? I had a couple ideas. First one that I was thinking is, you know, their routineness, the normality of their lives. Like the documentary talks about how they eat at the same places, they work out regularly. Their normal life is full of a lot of order and peace and continuity, I guess. So when they do the crazy music, touring, songwriting, studio life, you know, they're still kind of brought back to normal. Another thing is that I feel like as a person, you have to lack a degree of volatility in your personality to be able to maintain a working relationship for that long. You know, you have to be kind of normal and like nice and easy to get along with. And, you know, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that you nailed it on the head with a lot of stuff you said. And then also earlier just the fact that they're brothers. I mean, they're brothers. They love routine. They love being creative. They're always looking ahead. They're never resting on their laurels, and yeah, they're very stable people too, which is
rare for musicians.
Rare for artists.
Yeah.
So
many bands, so much dysfunction. Like if you read any book, about any kind of band, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, we just talked about reading, I read Flea's book or whatever, and Nirvana and Guns N' Roses. I mean, any band. There's like so much conflict and kicking people out and fights and huge struggles with alcoholism and drugs, and
which I think part of being an artist, is being more sensitive to all emotions in general. I think that's a major part of being a creative.
Yeah.
And being able to express those. And I think many artists struggle with all this different stuff that they're feeling. And, whenever they're high, they're really high. Whenever they're low, they're super low. And then whenever they're super low, they want to feel really high again. So then they're hitting up all kinds of crazy drugs and lashing out at fans. And
which isn't to say that, like, those other bands I mentioned with all the dysfunction, I mean, still put out great music.
Of course.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's just interesting that Sparks has... Like,
is there a correlation between dysfunction and how good an album is?
Well, maybe not, because they seem pretty functional.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe Sparks is the evidence against it.
And, and their music is great and timeless. I don't know.
Yeah, one thing that just strikes me with Sparks, and we've touched on this a little bit, is just with how ahead of their time they were. Delving into the comedy rock, I'm a huge fan of Tenacious D. I love Tribute. Guess what? Sparks did it first. #1 song in heaven.
Yeah. A song
And
about a song that doesn't exist.
Tribute was the tribute to #1 song in heaven. And then you have also, they have When Will I Get to Sing My Way? That's the name of the title, right?
Yeah.
By Sparks. Who also hit it was the exact same thing. Maybe we thought they did it first, was I'm Not Gonna Write You a Love Song.
Yeah.
Exact same concept. There's all these super novel concepts that are at the central theme of certain artists that it's like Sparks is like touch and go
commentaries.
Yeah. And Sparks is like, they've just done it first,
That's pretty cool. I hadn't thought about it that way.
There's another song too. If you delve into like a lot of their there's this funny song where Russell is singing about this situation where they accidentally buy the BBC and how it's just so inconvenient and how they don't know what to do with it. And so they're calling up like all the hosts on the BBC and asking what to do about it. Just like all these absurd situations in all their songs that are just so odd, but make them Sparks, Sorry, one more. There's another song called So Important, and then in parentheses, Extremely Important Remix, which is like the funniest name for a song I've ever heard.
Did you think they were British?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think part of it is like, I mean, who knows who did it first, but he kind of has like the Freddie Mercury sound in some of his songs when he sings. The falsetto and the glam rock kind of sound.
There's a little bit of the Who too, especially in Kimono My House.
I think it's a pretty ballsy move to release an album called Introducing Sparks as your like 5th or 6th album.
It's an insane move.
Come out.
It's a crazy, crazy move. It's so funny that you bring up the British thing too. I actually went onto their merch store earlier today, and I was looking at the shirts, and I realized all the prices are in euros.
Whoa.
Isn't that so funny? They're an American band. You go to their website, and the prices for their merch are in euro prices. So I was like, oh, $25, like whatever, but 25 euros isn't like a euro, like $1.50
something like that.
Dollars.
Yeah.
Check my
There's
math.
also a part in the movie where Ron is talking about a time when the record label wouldn't let them make a music video, so they made their own with like a cardboard cutout of a TV screen. You remember what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, we billed the label £2 for the cardboard we used to make the sign, and I was like, £2?
£2.
Ron, you're American. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they've led a very interesting life. I mean, I bet it would be so cool
Look at his fit.
What a crazy outfit. We're watching a live show right now, but it's on mute.
Ron's got he's got a shirt, tie, suit jacket, and then really baggy track pants, and then a pair of Nikes.
Yeah, like Air Force Ones.
Really,
And then, of
just
course,
big,
he's
chunky
sporting his
sneakers.
classic circular glasses and his thin mustache. His mustache is like an icon on its own.
When do you think he pivoted from the Hitler stash to the Charlie or the pencil?
That's,
you know,
it's honestly the craziest thing. And the pencil stash has gone in like different directions throughout the years too.
Yes.
Like sometimes it connects to his nose.
sometimes it's very thin. It's like a
Uh-huh. Sometimes it's like a French little, like a mime.
I thought it was funny how often and how casually people in the documentary just call him like, and there's this Hitler guy on stage next to Russell.
Yeah, it's crazy, honestly. You know, you think about somebody in a band rocking a Hitler stash today, it's like, they would be gone, man. Twitter would be all over them. By the way, I looked up the euro to dollar. The euro has dropped drastically. So 1 euro equals $1.10.
Interesting.
So 25 euros would be $28, $27.50.
Yeah. Good math. That was
That's not-
quick.
Yeah, what can I say, you know?
The another thing that stuck out to us as we were kind of talking before the show is their album covers. Their art and album titles and album art together is so powerful. Like they're just so funny. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Sparks.
There's a WAP.
Womp that sucker.
Womp That Sucker is a great one. And then you have, that's definitely the best one in my opinion. You have the one where they're like getting married to each other. I can't remember which album that
Yes.
is. Is that
So
Beat?
their
Good
first
Beat?
album is Sparks, originally titled Half Nelson. It's just kind of a bunch of guys in front of a brick wall.
The most boring, the most stable of the
Wolfer in
album covers.
Tweeters clothing, pretty similar to that one, but a great album title. Kimono My House, unforgettable.
Unforgettable album.
And then next album, Propaganda, is two of them like sitting on a boat with their hands bound, and I think like gags in their
They're like getting kidnapped like in a spy movie or something.
Indiscreet is the two of them standing over a large wrecked boat in like a parking lot. Big Beat, great album cover too.
Side note on Indiscreet, that's actually my dad has this long running joke that's his rapper alias
Indiscreet.
is Indiscreet. It's honestly it's like one of his classic jokes he's been telling for like the past 20
That's
years.
a pretty good dad joke.
So anytime I hear Indiscreet, I just think about my dad
Your dad's
rapping.
rapper alter
My
ego.
dad's rap career.
Big Beat is Ron with shirt and tie, looking to the side. Russell's shirtless, folding his arms, looking great. He's pretty athletic, you know. You got to be a
Ron
a
or
front
Russell?
man. Russell.
Russell, he's jumping all over the place. They're very, what's the word? Kind of, they juxtapose each other.
Yeah. How old are they? Do you know?
They've got to be like,
Now, let me look at it.
they're probably like 68, I would say, 70.
75.
75?
Russell is 75. Ron is older, so he's 78.
Wow. I didn't realize they were that old.
You see, he's doing sit-ups, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, lat pulls in the gym. It's insane.
They looked the same age from pretty much 25 to 50.
Yeah.
And then it was like once they hit like 55, it's like now they finally are starting to age.
So then you get to introducing Sparks. That's just Russell looking fly on the cover, looking very 70s. Number One in Heaven. That's like the woman on the looks like operating table maybe in like a hospital gown. Terminal Jive. Womp That Sucker, probably my favorite of their album
Womp
covers.
That Sucker is definitely the best album
It's
cover.
Ron in the background in the
Super
Rocky
punk.
victory pose.
It's such a punk album cover.
Russell on the ground, knocked out with the boxing gloves on. So good. Angst in My Pants. That's the one where they're getting married to each other. Which
Also a
may be my
great
second
song.
favorite.
Angst in My Pants is an awesome
It's a
song.
great song. I don't have to list all these. It would take too long. I'm going to just...
It's okay, man.
I love gratuitous sax and senseless violence.
Oh, that album cover is so funny. There's a picture of Ron on there that says the most miserable man in America, and he's like
Those
making one of his weird
da-
faces.
Those bare scenes that tried to suppress a smear campaign ran afoul.
Smear campaign ran afoul.
It's so funny. And the album name, of course, very funny too. Plagiarism, the one where they're both buff.
There's something about their music that makes me think they like almost have to have ADHD with the repetition that is in their music. For Joe and I's, for our band that we were in, I think it was 3 out of the 4 of us had ADHD.
Yeah.
And we would just come up with these like 6-7 word hooks that would just be on repeat.
You know, very Sparksy.
For the road trips.
Now that I think about it.
That's actually an ADHD thing. It's almost like a stim.
Yeah.
It's almost like a form of stimming. So with their like repetition and
You're like,
their
my
songs,
baby's taking me home.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It kind of makes me think.
So one of the songs that we used to sing all the time on road trips, going from show to show, was Car on the Road.
Car on the road, where do you go?
Car on the road.
I said, where do you go?
And we'd repeat that for like,
and then throw in like different harmonies and stuff
Car
into
on the road. Yeah, and just while you're driving over and over and over again.
My wife hated it so much.
That
She
could have been a
still hates
Sparks
it.
song.
Yeah.
We could have. Just kidding.
The car on the road, where do you go? You know? It's essentially the same thing. There actually is a song that we did release that was from one of those.
Girl, You've Got Me in a Twist.
Yeah, Girl, You've Got Me a Twist. That could have been. That's like
Self-plug,
very
go stream it on
Sparks.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Girl and then in parentheses Twist by Munin, but it's a very Sparks inspired track for sure.
It's very funny to describe it that way.
But it's true, right?
Something cool about Sparks too is you really don't know anything about their personal lives. You don't know really if they're married, if they have kids. I think maybe, I don't know. You don't really know anything about them. What they do, what they like. If their on stage persona is like just is it a persona? Is it really how they are all the time? They're very enigmatic. But I don't know. It does add to the mystery. I am curious though, just what their normal lives are like. But I read somewhere that he said that he didn't tell anybody because the reality is not that interesting, you know? And then the mystique is more interesting than that, you know. The mystique is more interesting than the reality.
Well, yeah, I would definitely say that if this is your first time hearing about Sparks, that as a listener, you got to check them out after you're done listening to this
Go watch
episode.
the documentary. That might be a great primer, you know?
The documentary, or also This Town Ain't Big Enough. And then from there,
That's
you
the
can go,
gateway drug.
yeah, This Town Ain't Big Enough for the two of us. That's the gateway drug, and then just go wherever you want
Two of
after
their
that.
earlier albums that I think are like perfect if you just want to listen to a whole thing. Listen to Kimono My House and then listen to Introducing Sparks. Those are both, can't go wrong.
You know who's similar in a weird way to Sparks,
Yeah.
that as we're talking about like this, is King Gizzard.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think King Gizzard, and to preface, favorite band right now. I love King Gizzard.
They're awesome.
With all
They're
my
so
heart.
good.
And they kind of do the same thing. They have a lot of different genres. They have a lot of repetition in their songs, a lot of kind of hypnotic trance music. You know, they've done country, they've done spoken word, they've done like thrash metal, they've done kind of smoother jazz stuff almost. Great band. I don't think they're quite as prolific or inventive as Sparks yet. But again, they've only been around for 10 years or so. They got a long ways to go.
It's true. But what are your favorite Sparks tracks?
Well, man, I'll be honest. I'm a newer Sparks fan, you know.
It's okay.
But
Welcome.
This Town Ain't Big Enough. I mean, obviously, great classic. The few that were in the movie that I really loved are Tryouts for the Human Race, Number One Song in Heaven, My Baby's Taking Me Home, and Dick Around. All really good. And then Goofing Off. I love the song Goofing Off. That one's on Introducing Sparks.
I would have to say my favorites besides This Town Ain't Big Enough are When I'm With You, and I do really enjoy The Rhythm Thief from Lil Beethoven. I really like their new track, The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte, and the music video for it is amazing too. Kate Blanchett is in it and just has some of the craziest dance moves in it.
It's awesome.
It's such a good
cool
music video. Also, the When Do I Get to Sing My Way, another great track. And then, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but I love, the track Balls. What a track. What a great track.
A powerful statement.
A powerful statement. All you need are balls, They have so many funny tracks though that are just it's such a rabbit hole to go into. I remember
like this. Oh, sorry, finish your thought.
It's okay. I remember going back to King Gizzard. That like whenever I started getting into him, you sent me like a link to
the flow chart.
The flow chart. That's what it was. The flow chart on
Yes.
like what to do now that you've discovered that you like King Gizzard. And I definitely think a flow chart needs to be made for Sparks too.
Ooh, we should work on that.
Yeah, maybe we should make a flow chart.
I agree, though. I mean, it's one fun thing about diving into their discography. Same thing with King Gizzard, at least in my opinion, is there's so much out there that there really is something for everybody, and there's like little treasures that you find all along the way. You know, maybe some of their stuff you'll be like, I like it, not my favorite though. But eventually you'll find one song where you're like, this is killer. I love the way this sounds.
So good, and you have to kind of almost. It's much more of like an artistic kind of music than. Like a casual listening music.
It demands your attention.
It demands your attention, and it's a statement in itself. It's like I don't want to sound snobby saying all this stuff, but it's like an Andy Warhol piece kind of a thing, you know, where it's like there's so much that they're trying to convey here, and you got to dig deep into it.
I didn't know that Ron was the main songwriter.
Yeah,
pretty much everything. All the lyrics are his, and I think it's such an interesting kind of window into his psyche. You know, the things he thinks and the things he's worried about. And a few of the songs very honest about his personal appearance, you know, worried about the way he looks and being embarrassed for not being good enough. And, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, a lot of my favorite bands have that situation where the lead singer is singing, but he's not the one writing the lyrics. The best example is Rush with Neil Peart writing all the lyrics. And you look at those lyrics and they're so crazy. They're like novels, philosophical novels. Yeah. Whenever you're reading Rush's lyrics. Another one is Pete Wentz of Fall Out Boy.
Oh.
He writes all the lyrics.
Not Patrick
Stump. Yeah, I don't really love new Fall Out Boy, but you know, I was a huge fan of Infinity on High. I still think Infinity on High from Fall Out Boy is their best and most creative album.
This isn't to diminish like the contributions of other songwriters, but like, I mean, composing the music and the lyrics, you can have a talented musician, but doing those two things is so hard, and making it good, you know?
They're also separate acts, too. Writing the melody and writing the lyrics, completely separate. And you can have people that can write amazing lyrics and cannot compose a vocal melody. I feel like that's the thing, actually, surprisingly, that most bands that don't make it struggle with is vocal melodies, good catchy vocal melodies, which I've never understood personally, but that is the thing most people struggle with.
I guess that kind of makes sense because people want to sing along to music, you know?
One thing that I want to talk about with Sparks is how they have done. They arguably did the most difficult music feat I think I've ever heard of a band attempting and also succeeding, which was, I think in like 2011 or something, or no, it was 2006, they played all of their albums back to back each night. And we saw that in the documentary again too. That is...
Was it like 21 albums or something?
Yeah, like 21 albums,
21 nights,
nearly 300 songs. And the same people playing in the band. So you're not like switching, this is the guitar player for this album so that he remembers his parts. No, the full band, all 21 albums, back-to-back nights. I've never heard of a more difficult feat for a musician in my life. Have you?
No. I mean, you think about, like, it sounds hard, but the more you think about it, the more insane it is. Because, I mean, a 10 to 15 song set... That's a lot to remember.
It takes like a full month of rehearsal for bands that are touring before they perform it on those tours. Before you get a good
sounding set. And so, like, I don't even know how you would start to prepare. Like, you know, how long do you spend on one album getting all the songs down before moving to the next one?
It's like, oh man, we spent 2 hours on this track. We spent too long on it.
Yeah. But then by the time you get to like album 6... You've forgotten album 1 again, and you have to go back and rehearse that one again and to keep it fresh in your memory. And keeping all of that like together, like it's just insane.
It's crazy.
You'd have to be rehearsing Like, once you started the 21 days of performing, you'd still have to be rehearsing during the day, but rehearsing different songs than the ones you'd be playing that night. Right?
And they were nearly 60 when they did that, too.
Yeah.
Closing on 60.
Yeah.
And they're like they're pushing their short-term and long-term memory to its max. There's no way they're getting Alzheimer's if they're doing memory exercises like that. Who needs Sudoku?
Yeah. Plus, I mean, the crazy physical feat of playing an entire album on a stage every single night for 21 days in a row.
Oh, man.
I gotta rest for like 3 days after playing a
Yeah.
show.
You play one show and
me
your
out.
back is broken. You've like lifted all the gear. I mean, I'm sure they have like a crew, but even still, like Russell, like moving around on stage the way he does, your body hurts after that.
Yeah.
And
Ron stripping, it takes it out of you.
yeah, it's an insane. It's a taxing emotional experience,
Yeah.
like playing too, because you really just give it your all. And
Yeah.
then there's definitely a sense of being drained after a show, and just the idea of 21 back-to-back different shows is honestly terrifying, horrifying.
If any of you went to any of those shows,
Please message us.
message us, because I want to know what it was like, how they sounded, if it was cool. I mean, obviously it was cool, but yeah.
There are people that talk about how they went to every single show. And it's like, man, I wonder how much one of those shows should have cost. Would have cost, and also should have cost.
Yeah.
You're going to night 4, and you're seeing Introducing Sparks or whatever, or is that 6? Their 6th album
I
or
think
something?
maybe 7, but yeah.
7. Anyway, it's like, that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing that's going to happen right there,
Yeah.
Like, how much would those tickets have cost?
I always feel this sense with old bands that, like, if you don't see them when they're touring, you might never get to see them again.
Yeah.
But really, that's how it is with any band. Anything could happen. They could break up. There could be some tragedy. You just never know.
Yeah, most likely the topic of a future episode will be Hers, the band
Yeah.
Hers, how they had a very tragic early death, and how we love them so much too.
I had tickets to see Rage Against the Machine this year. Me and my brothers and my dad were going to go because we're all big fans. And Zach De La Roca, tore his Achilles tendon out of his ankle. It just detached from his foot. And they had to cancel the tour, so we never got to go. And then just a couple weeks ago, the band announced they're breaking up and not going to play anymore.
Oh, man, dude.
And so, I mean, they've been my favorite band, one of my favorite bands for years and years. And I was like, finally, I'm going to get to go see them. And now I might not get the chance, which is kind of sad. But
Yeah, I had a similar experience with Foo Fighters, because they are one of my favorite bands. And give me one sec, I have to remember his name. Okay. Yeah, I had a similar experience with Foo Fighters with Taylor Hawkins, how he passed away a year or two ago. He's one of my favorite drummers. I would say he was one of the best modern rock drummers. And they had always been on my, they're always still touring, they're still relatively young.
Foo Fighters are busy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll see them eventually. And I feel like they're always playing every festival that I don't go to.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I should have. And it's like Foo Fighters on the bill, and then all the most of the rest of the bands I'm kind of meh. Or the tickets are $4,000. Anyway, but yeah, so that was a bummer for me, how I never got to see Taylor Hawkins play with the Foo Fighters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just looked on their website, and they're not touring right now, but I hope they do something soon again, because I'd love to see Sparks live while they're still going at it. I mean,
yeah,
they're getting old.
Seize the day.
Seize the day.
If Sparks tours, gotta go see him.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. My cat just died.
For listeners also, Joey's cat recently passed today.
Today, right before we started recording.
His name was Danny.
Rest in peace, Danny. You were one of the best.
So if you notice some somber tones in Joe,
that's what it was from.
Let him off the hook.
If you have any good recommendations for songs about losing a pet, send them my way. Maybe don't. That might make me feel worse.
Or any grieving tips for pets.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
See ya.
This has been another great episode of the Band for Band podcast. Thanks for listening. Follow us on Instagram at Band for Band Pod, and subscribe to our Patreon if you want some bonus episodes. Thank you.